boy. He is the sun in Sonshine. And it's so great because he is slowly over the years been moving in towards this ownership position with the company. And so hopefully by the end of the year, we're going to be full partners. And yeah. So,
and soon she'll
what? No, I will never be gone. I love my customers way too much.
Exactly. And they love you.
Yes. And I love this company. I love the life it's given us. I love, because, you know, we didn't have anything, right? And now we get to go on, you know, some family trips, and we've had a really good go of things, and owe so much to Nanaimo and the community. And this is a reminder too, to anybody out there, if there's anything that you're doing in the community and you would like some social media love on it, let us know. You can shoot us an email, office@sunshinegirlspainting.com, and don't forget that is spelled S-O-N, Sunshine Girls Painting. And if you have anything going on, give us a little bit of notice, and we would be more than happy to promote it, or maybe we can do one of these with you and you can talk about it. So if we can help out in any way, we would love to give back to the community that has been so very good to us. Yes. But did you have anything to say about that?
I was going to say, or if you have like an on-site location that you're trying to do something, let us know. Either Allison or myself will pop down. We'll do a Facebook Live from site. We have no problems helping people out because, like Mom said, the community's been so great to us. Yeah. So it's time to give back to the community what we can.
That's right. And we love to love. So what we want to talk about today is colored front doors. You know, it is coming up on outside painting season, hopefully quite soon. And the front door is always a point of conversation with our clients. And when do you know what color door, when do you paint the door color? When don't you? Why would you? All of that stuff. So we're going to talk a little bit about, I'm going to talk first about why you want to paint the front door. And so there is a whole psychology around painting the front door. And they say that colored front doors, houses sell better. And it's not necessarily because the door has a color to it. But what it is when we pull up to a house, and we pull up anywhere actually, our subconscious wants to know what we're doing before our brain actually clicks in and thinks about it, because that makes us feel safe. Like that's caveman, you know, genetic type stuff that is still in our body, is that our subconscious is constantly trying to keep us safe from those saber-toothed tigers. So we still have remnants of that going on in our head, because evolution moves very slowly and society moves very fast. And there's often a disconnect between the two, and we don't realize that a lot of this stuff is actually attached to our caveman ancestors, and we should thank them for that because it kept us alive. Anyway, when we pull up to a house, our subconscious wants to know where we want to go. And when the whole house is all sort of blending together, our subconscious goes, where are we supposed to go? We don't know where we're supposed to go. Oh, I don't know where to go. Where do I go? Maybe I should go there. I don't even know. Like, right? And so they have this internal kind of thing that we're not even really aware of. We might tense up and feel a little uncomfortable, but we probably don't understand why. So when the front door is a bright color, it doesn't always have to be bright, it can just be different. So if you have like a brown house with a red door that stands out, people are going to notice that more. They're not going to notice a brown door in a brown house, especially, and then the garage door is brown and everything's brown, and it's very confusing. But when you pull up to a house and your subconscious sees right away where they're supposed to go, that makes people feel better. And if they feel better about your house. They feel better about buying it. They feel better about coming to visit you. I don't believe that it matters what the color is, as long as it looks good. I've heard some people say a yellow front door sells fastest. I don't know. I've seen some pretty ugly yellow front doors. And so but I think the whole thing is just a colored door sells better because our subconscious likes it better. And which brings me to my second point, is your door should be the only of that color on your house. So if you have a blue door, don't make your garage door blue, because your subconscious is going to look at that bigger opening and go, ooh, bigger opening, that's safer, and it's going to head towards that. And then you're now in that uncomfortable kind of space. Which door do I go to? I went to a house one time, it had 3 red doors. They closed in the garage, so I think one door may have gone into the garage. One door was maybe storage or a suite, and then one door was for the house, but I had no idea looking at the house which door I was supposed to go to, and it was so uncomfortable. I've also been to doors that have the garage doors outlined in a different color, you know, all those little squares. The door will be white, and then they'll put like a red square in those inserted panels. And all I want to do is look at that door, and then I can't find the front door, which is not to say don't do it. If you love it, it's your house. Ultimately, you want a house that you're going to pull up in front of and love. But this is just sort of the psychology behind it all. So I'm going to turn you over to Tone here, and he is going to talk about the actual painting of the door and things to watch out for.
Yeah, so when you're painting a front door, especially a bright, bold color, there's a few things that come into factors. One is the product that's being used has to be a product that is going to be able to handle like a really bold color if you go bold. If not, you can do any other kind of colors. The other thing is you don't want to put anything that's too shiny because it'll absorb the heat and it'll get super, super hot and it'll start to blister, which can create problems down the road.
Is that a sheen thing, or is that just more of darkness of a color? Because wouldn't the shine sort of bounce the light off the door?
Yes, it would reflect the light, but it also heats up faster because it's a shiny surface. It's kind of like aluminum foil, where like the shiny side will produce the heat, but it'll still be hot.
Got it. That makes sense.
So you really want to make sure that when you get to that point that they're using the right product, they're using the right color, and then they're prepping the door. Prep on a front door is huge because a lot of times people use their hands to push doors open if they've got a bunch of groceries or foot and puts dirt on it. You really have to make sure that you sand the door properly. You don't have to take like a power sander or a palm sander to it. Sanding sponge would be more than sufficient as long as it's not a super fine one. Maybe a medium or a coarse one would be good. And then that will kind of get off any kind of bumps, nicks, any of that other kind of stuff. It'll pull off any of those things that are stuck to the door. And then we recommend wiping it down with methyl hydrate. If you don't have that or can't find it, rubbing alcohol is essentially the exact same thing. You don't want to use too much of it. But what that does is it clears off any of the oils from our hands, our feet, any part of our body, because our body produces so many oils.
So why wouldn't they want to use too much?
Because what I'll do is it'll actually like gum up the paint that's already on there, making it harder for our product to adhere to the surface.
So does it matter how much they use if the door's not painted?
It still does matter because you're leaving a chemical on the door. So if you do find yourself possibly using too much, just give your door a rinse with water so that it can dilute whatever's on the door, because the paint won't want to stick to it properly. And that's the big thing is front door, because it gets so much traffic. If you don't have the proper adhesion, you're going to run into huge issues on the door. So it is really super important that the door gets prepped properly for those circumstances. And then just making sure that you find the right color is super important, like Mom said. And one of the great ways to do it is driving around your neighborhoods and looking at houses that may be the same color that you're looking for, what color their front door is. Because it's important to make sure that you're not going to have a horrendous match. Your front door looks terrible to the rest of your house, but you also want to find out that what areas of town or what door color you might like, whether it be red or blue or yellow or orange or white. It doesn't really matter as long as it's something that you like and that you don't think is going to look awful with the color of your home.
And you want to make sure you pick a color too, that when you pull up to it after a long, hard, bitchy day at work, you pull up to your house and you're like, oh, I'm home. You don't want to pull up to a door and go, oh, I hate that color.
Yes. Because
you're going to walk into your home, to your family with that feeling. But if you pull up in front of your house and you're like, oh, look at my beautiful blue door. I love my door. When you go in, your family's going to get a better version of you.
Absolutely. It's super important that you want to be looking at something you're coming home to every day. There's another place that you can go to look at front door colors, and that is a website called Houzz, HOUZZ.com. We are a contractor on there as well, where we produce our pictures, but there's how many photos are on there?
Like 11 million photos. And you can just search front door colors.
Yeah. You can.
You don't have to go through all 11 million.
No, that's take forever. You can also search for houses, like if you have a stucco house or whatever, and the front door color on that looking style of house, which will give you a better idea of what it might look like on yours. Not going to be exactly the same, obviously, but it'll kind of get your head in the right space to find the color that you're looking for.
But I do caution you, when you're looking at pictures online, don't trust that color is the right color, because so say they say it's Wedgwood blue. Or actually, I shouldn't say that one, because that's sort of like they say like Waterton blue or water baby blue, because I don't think that's a color. Maybe it's water baby blue. And then what's happened though is there is a chip at the paint store that says water baby blue, but the one on your screen is going to be a different shade because somebody has taken a camera to it and taken a photo, and you don't know what the lenses or the settings are on that camera. And then they upload it to a computer, which probably changes the resolution some more. Then you're seeing it on your computer, which changes it some more. So your water baby blue could actually look like rainbow blue in real life. And so make sure you're going for the feel of what you want and not necessarily trusting the name of the color.
Absolutely.
And then the other thing I want to talk about too is with the sheen. One of the other reasons you don't want to do semi-gloss, because some people are like, well, we don't always get a lot of sun, or we're not going with a dark color, so maybe we're not so worried about it being a shinier surface. But what happens is the elements will break down the door faster. The sheen will break down the sheen. So when you open the door, you're going to get this shiny little bit where the weather stripping is sitting, and then the rest of your door will have faded. The sheen will have faded. So you're going to have this more of an eggshell finish on the door with this shiny little thing every time you open your door. So I think it's just better to start with an eggshell.
Yeah. The other thing too with shine is that if there is any kind of imperfections on the doors, like dings from us, bumping in a box or whatever, the sheen will amplify that because it'll catch light differently.
Yeah, previous bad paint jobs, brush strokes, all of that stuff.
Yeah. And keep in mind that you can only do so much unless you're taking the door all the way down. If you're going to power sand your door, that's great. But like Mom said, if it's been previously painted with a heavy texture, those are really difficult things to get rid of. So keep those things in mind. Yeah.
Yeah, manage expectation. That's always really, really important.
Absolutely.
And I think we're going to be doing another Facebook Live on sheen. I don't think we've done one yet.
I believe we haven't. No.
Right. And so we will be talking about sheen at a later date to give you more information about what that is, because we like giving out tips. Because not everybody wants to hire somebody, right? And if you're going to do it yourself, I really think it's important that you get some of these little insider tricks and tips so that you can make sure that you are doing it properly. And you know what? If you do decide to do your own project, feel free to give us a shout. Like, we're happy to answer questions. We had somebody say, hey, I'm having a problem with my ceiling, and we knew them. They were, involved in the company in the past. And so we went over and just said, hey, try this, this, and this. And they ended up doing it themselves, and that's totally fine. We don't mind. Usually we will not go out to people's houses just because, it takes time, but we're happy to have a phone call about it. Yeah. Oh, and the other thing too, what would be a good product to use on a door, like a good, safe, consistent product?
So the product that we use on exterior doors, there's two different products we use. We have products that we use for a heavy, deep base color, say, for example, like a bright red or yellow. There's pre-tinted bases we use, and that would be from Sherwin-Williams is where we use most of our product. But Sherwin-Williams has pre-tinted products in a satin base in the Resilience line. So it's a nice, thick, heavy paint that's going to cover really well. It's going to be really durable and hold up over time. If it's a color that doesn't require a base, like a pre-tinted base, we use all-surface enamel from Sherwin-Williams as well. It's a latex, waterborne enamel, which is a hard product. It dries really nicely. It's washable, scrubbable, and it holds up over time.
And what about if the door is metal?
Both products adhere to the door if they're metal.
As long as the prep work's done properly.
As long as the prep work is done properly. If you are concerned about it, you can use a primer, and there's a multitude of primers that you can use out there that are designed, but make sure it's designed for exterior, because if it's not, the elements will break it down really fast.
And make sure it's not like a drywall primer, right? Yeah. Like there are primers, we'll have to do a live on that as well, but there is like a ton of different primers for a ton of different reasons.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so it's important to always know what it is that you're getting. Yeah.
Look at this. We're coming up with all different kinds of.
I know. All these tips and tricks. Love it.
Absolutely.
And what if it's a wood door?
Wood doors, that is a whole other animal as well. It depends. If the wood door is already stained, like with a clear coat, we would need to figure out what was on the door if you're wanting us to give a clear coat again, or if you're going to do it, because only certain clear coats can go over certain products or themselves, or have certain products go over themselves. There is so you're kind of getting into a whole different thing. If you let your doors go too long, though, wooden doors, without being stained or taken care of, what you'll run into is you can run into water issues where the product has failed, it starts flaking off, and then the water starts creeping up or down the door. Now that's a whole nother ballgame.
That's another ballgame.
That's, if you're wanting to keep that, you're really going to have to sand your doors down, take them down to bare wood. You're probably going to have to use a wood brightener on them and then repaint them. If not, and you don't want to go through all that, you can put a solid stain on the door or solid paint on the door. It would require a primer, again, the sanding and the methyl hydrate or rubbing alcohol. Prime it and then top coat it with whatever you'd like.
Yeah. So if you do have a wooden door, like so many wooden doors are just so beautiful, not good to have on the wet coast here, but they are really, really fantastic looking. But set a reminder in your calendar to inspect the door every single year, because people, I don't know how many people have said to me over the years, it just happened overnight. No, it didn't happen overnight. We just stopped seeing our door, and we're busy and we're pushing them with groceries or whatever. We're never really looking at it. So schedule a date with your door to have a look at it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in the wood's one of those things where, like Allison said, Mom said, it's one day it's fine, next day it's not. So really make sure.
But that's not true. No, that's not what I said.
Well,
we think it's that way, but it's not actually that way.
Day, no.
And so that's why it's so important to put a reminder in your door, in your phone, on your calendar,
for your door,
on your fridge. I don't care. But put a reminder that you're having a date with your door. And while you're at it, you can have a date with your loved one too.
Yes.
Although you shouldn't do that once a year.
I would probably date your loved ones
do that more often.
Yeah, that might be. We're not here for relationship advice. We're here for paint advice.
However, we do make life so much easier for people when they're doing renos that it does help some marriages. Anyway, so great to have you here. And, you know, if you have any questions, again, just let us know. And in the meantime, open up your house.
Let the sun shine in.